Coming up, it's Election Day. We break down local elections from across the region and special reports, all coming up.
All right, in sports this morning, kind of light, hockey, some basketball, and some football, but nevertheless interesting. I'm Ryan Hedrick. Stories straight ahead.
I'm Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. The snowflakes and the ribbons are out here on 3rd Street here in downtown Jamestown, and yeah, we've got actual snowflakes in that forecast. We'll talk about it coming up.
That's News Now for Tuesday, November 7th, 2017.
Live and on demand from the Chautauqua Audio Works studios in downtown Jamestown. This is your source for breaking news. WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for a special edition of News Now. I'm Justin Gould alongside our Matt Hummel and Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. Today we wanted to talk a little bit about election 2017 and how here at WNY News Now we're going to have a special report tonight starting at 7 o'clock with live coverage from across Chautauqua County. Myself will be at Republican headquarters, so to speak, at Webb's in Mayville, and Ryan Hedrick will be at the Labyrinth, very close to our downtown studios, not even a block away, Matt, at the Democratic headquarters. And tonight, you and one of our volunteers, Roy Polero, will be right here in this seat kind of giving analysis of the coverage.
Ooh, me? Analysis? That never happens.
I know, Matt never gives analysis. And he also has a very important job, and we want to take you now to what we're calling the big board, so to speak.
Oh boy.
It's not that big, but if we could take you there, Storm. This is our feed here in the newsroom where we have a live result. This is the unofficial results. Obviously, no one's reporting in yet. If you've kind of watched election coverage before or know a little bit about it, you'll know that the information comes into us from the county and comes in kind of under a bunch of different categories you can go down through and see. But you can click on the county executive race and then display information there. Obviously, out of the 101 districts, no one has reported yet since polls close at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Right?
You can also check out the county clerk race as well out of the 101 districts. And let's say, for example, we went to city. So we went to Jamestown and city council at large, another big race. Only 19 districts within the city of Jamestown that vote for this. I would imagine that's the 19 different polling sites.
Probably polling sites.
I would
six wards.
Six wards, but then they have the different polling sites as well. So all of that information will come to us. In fact, we even have put together kind of like a visual graphic. If we could kind of show some of those storms of the different candidates. We have, Ward 2. And as the night progresses and as we officially get some results and we start calling races, we'll do that for you with these graphics. And then, of course, you have the city council at large. Quite a big group there. We've talked to, I would imagine, a little over half of them throughout our coverage. And for more coverage, of course, throughout the day, you can head to WNYNewsNow.com, where right now we have a lot of information for people to look at. So political headlines are just moments away, but first let's check in with Dakota's election forecast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, we need to get that big board here in the Weather Center. We need to use that here.
He's going to steal it from the politics department.
We're going to just yank it out of here and put it over in the Weather Center over there. But the election coverage tonight, it's going to be chilly, and I'll break down that full forecast in just a little bit. But first, let's go to the graphic system if we can. This is the Skycam that we have in Erie at the old water tower out in front of the mall, and you can see the traffic down there and some of the fall colors still hanging around, although the colors now we're past peak, so they're not as bright as they once were. 43 out in Erie right now with that dew point of 32, and we've got snow in that forecast coming up later in the week.
Oh, boy.
I know. We'll talk about it in a few minutes.
All right, Dakota, thank you. Well, today voters will head to the polls, and one of the ballot measures would strip corrupt politicians of their pensions. Recently, our Ryan Hedrick spoke with Assemblyman Andy Goodell about corruption in New York State.
A lot of the budget negotiations are 3 men in a room. And what's happened, it's a little bit different in the past, is the 3 men in the room, with the exception of the governor, but the 2 legislative leaders report back to their respective caucuses much more than in the past. So if you were to look back on the budget process 5 years ago, Silver and Joe Bruno, for example, they told their caucus what was going to happen. Now it's the opposite. So there's still some of that 3 men in a room, but it's a much more open process.
You can vote on that proposition number 2 on the back of your ballot. If you feel you've been having problems voting today, the Attorney General has set up a voter access hotline. Voters with polling problems should give him a call at 800-771-7755. The number again, 800-771-7755, or you can email them at civil.rights@ag.ny.gov. Straight ahead, more election news to tell you about. Our Ryan Hedrick sits down with a local businessman who hopes to leverage his experience into political success. That and more coming up.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
One of my favorite quotes is from Benjamin Franklin, and that is, well done is better than well said. I've tried to live by that philosophy.
I'm Bill McFadden, and I'm standing in front of my new Honda dealership. I encountered a number of obstacles. I reached out to George Barillo. George was amazing. He connected me properly with the right officials and the people that could get things done. You can see the results of what George Barillo did. George Barillo gets things done.
A coffee shop owner who's become more involved in county politics hopes he can leverage his day-to-day interactions with members of the city's 11th district from his coffee shop business. Our Ryan Hedrick with this special report.
I'm Ryan Hedrick outside of the Labyrinth Press Company here in the city of Jamestown, where county Democrats will gather as the night goes on to view political results as they come in. One candidate says he wants to make a change. He's been in business for a while here, came up under the Jamestown Renaissance Corporation. His name is Frank Bessie, and he's running for the 11th District County Legislator seat against incumbent Dave Wilfong. Bessie talked to me about his influences, why he chose to run, and also the business culture here in the city of Jamestown.
You know, after last year's election, I knew I wanted to get involved in some way, and so I joined the City Democratic Committee, started going to meetings there, and the conversations were starting around what's going to happen for 2017 elections, and just having some good conversations about where I might fit as a candidate and where other people did, and that's where the opportunity to run for county legislature came up. And, you know, just for the last several years, I've been kind of involved with the community, whether it's with business, with Labyrinth Press Company in Brazil, Craft Beer and Wine Lounge. Before that, working at the Jamestown Renaissance Corporation, where we did a lot of community and economic development, and then just working for a number of employers in the community, from Southern Tier Brewing Company and Jamestown Skate Products. I've just been around Jamestown for a long time and been involved with it in ways that, you know, I have a deep connection and passion for our community. And one of the things is that I live downtown and I operate businesses downtown, and I really care about our community, and I spend so much of my time here that I have a really good understanding of what's happening. And I think that that's on two fronts. It's the assets that our community has, the good things that are happening, but also I get to see the liabilities, the things that are tough, the hurdles that we face. And I think there is that optimism and that pragmatism that I have, that I can really find ways to address our problems, see the problems, and find ways to solve those problems. Being a business owner down here is really great. There's a good community of people, and I think one of the things that we face is, you know, getting the word out that we're here. I mean, for so long, people that have lived in the community have just been hearing this narrative of what's closing and what's no longer an option, and there's been several people downtown that have been trying to get this energy going and this awareness, and I think we're finally starting to see that people have their heads up and are looking for what new things are happening. So, you know, that's getting through that, and kind of people being optimistic about what new things are happening has been tough, but I think we're turning a corner on that and getting people excited and looking for what can happen here. And running for office takes more time than you could imagine. You know, it is something that can easily be all-encompassing. There's always more things to do. There's always another voter you can reach out to. There's always something happening, and that's really difficult, but it's also really exciting. So there has been sacrifice, and I knew that there would be a certain amount of that, and I was happy to do that. Trade a lot of a time over the summer and into the fall that I could be spending outside and relaxing or spending with my family, but decided that this was something really important, and you don't always have an opportunity to be involved with politics, and I wanted to take that opportunity and try to do something with it. Don't know what's going to happen with the election. It's really close. We don't know which way it's going to go, but I think that this has been a really positive experience. I know regardless of the outcome, I hope to be involved with local politics and just trying to be a voice for people, but also try to be a connection for people. There's been a lot of conversations I've had with people who don't know how local governance and local politics works, and I've been trying to be an advocate for them to know what's happening in their community, know what they can do and what opportunities are out there to have their voices heard. So win or lose, I want to be part of that conversation and part of that progress in our community. I actually sent out 500 letters to registered voters in my district ages 18 to 35 that have at least voted once. But they might not vote in off-year elections. And what I wanted to convey to them was that we are a generation of people that care about society, care about our community, care about the communal welfare, the good, and that while there might be not a lot of hope in politics on a national level or things, but like on the local level it really does matter, then also just want to really convey that there's so many local elections that are decided by very few votes. My race last time was decided by 38 votes. The race for the legislative district next door here to District 12 was decided by 23 votes. So I really want to highlight those things, and there's people that have been following local politics for a long time that can point to Bemis Point mayoral race. That was a three-way race that was decided by one vote between first, second, and third. So there's plenty of examples where very small number of voters had a big impact on who got to represent them in local government, and just trying to really push those and point out that this is different than the presidential elections where 50 million people are voting per side, and you have the electoral college that can kind of distort things. This is very different here on the local level.
Now, your first defense forecast with Dakota Hunter.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm back on my wall, kind of where I belong. Let's take one final look at the Mill Creek Mall Skycam here. You can see the traffic here, and the cloud cover kind of hangs. We have the camera tilted down a little bit, but you can kind of see just the essence of that cloud cover down there. It's 43 out there in Erie right now with that dew point of 32. You can still see some of that fall color showing up there. The temperatures, even though the fall colors are not really as vibrant as they once were. Now, we put out a web story yesterday talking about this. We had a confirmed tornado that occurred in Erie Sunday night, and of course we had that mass of thunderstorms that came in with a QLCS, quasi-linear convective system, otherwise a squall line. And so the National Weather Service in Cleveland, which serves Erie County, Pennsylvania, it's bizarre, but that's just how it is, they have determined that the tornado in Erie was an EF1, and the estimated time of touchdown was 7:05 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night, and the estimated wind speeds were around 90 miles an hour, and the path width of the tornado was about 100 yards, and so this wasn't a very large tornado by any means. The damage path was about 2.4 miles. It first touched down in the township of Mill Creek. That's part of the reason why I showed you that Mill Creek camera. And it actually touched down near the Kmart Plaza as an EF0, and it dissipated on Green Garden Boulevard in the city of Erie as an EF1, and it widened out a little bit. Fortunately, there were no injuries or no fatalities with this tornado, but man, that was just very interesting. And again, November severe weather, not that, it's not that rare as a lot of people think it is. And so, man, that's just one of the reasons we got to stay on top of the weather all times of the year. I want to do one more Peg the Geek Meter segment. I think I'm going to start adding this into the weather segment probably about once every week maybe, because I love this. Peg the Geek Meter. Today we're going to be talking about the EF scale, since I just mentioned it. Tornado icon. And essentially the EF scale is essentially how we rate tornadoes. It was developed by the great Dr. Theodore Fujita, and that's what the F stands for, is Fujita. And it was first developed as the F scale in 1971, and the National Weather Service replaced it with the Enhanced Fujita scale, that's what EF stands for, in 2007. And the EF scale basically rates tornadoes based on damage done by storm surveys and estimated wind speeds. So this is how we rate tornadoes. It's not so much the wind speed they look at, it's mostly the damage that they look at. Because again, you could have wind speeds on radar of, let's say, 115 miles an hour, but if the damage doesn't correlate with that, then it's probably a weaker tornado. So this is how they rate tornadoes. It's the EF scale, and it's been the standard of how we rate tornadoes for a very long time, and the EF scale works very, very well. Current temperatures out there right now, still a little on the chilly side, but not too bad, I don't think. 36 at J-Town, 41 in Dunkirk, 44 in Erie, 41 in Buffalo, 43 at the Falls, 32 down there in Olean. Of course, it's a little bit chilly down here in the Allegheny River Valley, of course, because it is a valley, so you're going to be a little bit chillier. Now, as I was telling you yesterday, Arctic front is going to be dragged with the jet stream across Canada, and we're talking about, yep, Arctic blast. I'm sorry, I just had to bring it in. This is ultimately going to drop our temperatures, and we're going to see the coldest air we've seen so far this season come later in the week. Currently at the airport right now, it's 36 with that wind chill of 30 when you combine it with that north. Yeah, did
that's
you see where
cold.
over there?
Yeah, it's really cold.
Yeah, so it feels like 30 when you combine it with that northeast wind of 7. You can see some of that cloud cover there at the JCC Skycam as well. Forecast details for this Tuesday. Your sunset comes up at 5:03 tonight. Your sunrise at 6:59 tomorrow morning. Record for this date is 68, set in 1975. Lake temperatures tied once again. Lake Erie, 55 off the coast of Buffalo, and 55 degrees off the coast of Rochester on Lake Ontario. And actually, Lake Erie is about 4 degrees above normal. The average temperature for this date is around 52, so pretty interesting on the lakes out there. First Defense forecast for this Tuesday. Chance for a few rain or snow showers, or perhaps a wintry mix. Otherwise, just cloudy skies, highs in the lower 40s with a northeast wind, 7 to 12. And then for tonight, partly cloudy skies and cold. So when you go out to vote tonight, bundle up. Low temperature, 27 on average. Some of the colder pockets could easily wind up colder than that. We're talking probably lower 20s in some of the valleys, especially around the River Valley areas. Northeast breeze, 3 to 6. And then for tomorrow, we start to see some sunshine, but doesn't really warm up our temperatures that much. We're still stuck in the lower 40s with that west wind of 4 to 8 miles an hour. Beautiful shot of the Niagara River. 7 days of your life here on planet Earth. And Thursday night, that is when that front comes in. And for some reason, my graphics switch. I have no idea why that happened. But anyway, I'll have that full 7-day forecast during final weather in just a little bit. Ryan, we'll have sports right after the break, so stay with us.
There it is.
WNY News Now is sponsored by Sound Rhythm Studio of Jamestown, partnered with Chautauqua Audio Works, offering lessons in Fredonia and Jamestown. Chautauqua Audio Works, where interest-free financing is just a phone call away. With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Hello, I'm Mike Ferguson with my wife Diane. I'm running for Chautauqua County Executive to bring leadership and positive experience to Chautauqua County. From the arena to Dietrich Park and the Jammers, we've had success. I'll bring jobs, battle drugs, and bring new revenue streams through development and growth. That will lower taxes. This is serious business, and it calls for strong, bold, innovative leadership and vision. Let me bring that to you, to us, the people of Chautauqua County, with your vote November 7th.
From the Phone Zone Sports Desk, I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's the latest. The Canucks wore lavender jerseys in warm-ups as part of Hockey Fights Cancer Awareness Night. Detroit and Vancouver start off in the third period with the Canucks down a goal. They have the puck. Bo Horvat drops it back to Del Zotto, who scores on the wrister. First goal of the season, ties the game at 2. Face-off with the score tied at 2 in the third period, 82 seconds left. It's a face-off Detroit would win. Look at Adelkader thread the pass to Tatar, and the Red Wings going to win 3-2. Vancouver now with a tough stretch. They play 10 of their next 12 on the road. To the NFL, 35 degrees at kickoff time for Detroit and Green Bay. And the Lions haven't been roaring lately, more like meowing, losers of 3 straight, but their game plan was on point. Let's skip a quarter and start in the second, where Detroit's up a touchdown. Stafford the pitch to Amir Abdullah. Look at that parting of the Red Sea as Abdullah walks into the end zone. 14-0 Lions. Go ahead to the fourth quarter. Stafford,
He was in his zone, I'll tell you. 361 yards. That passed right over the top of Green Bay's corner, Demarius Randall, and the Lions going to win in convincing fashion, 30-17. NBA Nets and the Suns, neither one of these teams playing well at the moment. Nets losers of 4 straight. The Suns on a 2-game skid, fourth quarter. Nets up 4. Carroll maneuvers to the free throw line. Look at that soft left-hand jumper. Gets a couple of bounces and then drops through. The Nets going to win 98-92. Couple of local college basketball notes. JCC men's and women's teams both off until tomorrow. And St. Bonaventure opens up their schedule on Friday night against Niagara in Olean. They are definitely worth keeping tabs on. From the Phone Zone Sports Desk, I'm Ryan Hedrick for WNY Sports Now, where it all unfolds here.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Everything's made fresh here. We love to be outside, and it's nice inside if it's raining, so we have a choice.
Locals and non-locals agree that the Main Landing is quickly becoming a destination.
It's just so casual, and just the food is amazing.
I love the hamburgers.
But I really like the tuna I had.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Throughout the course of election 2017, we've traveled from Jamestown to Dunkirk and pretty much everywhere else in between. Our crew has experienced, much like these candidates who are running for office, a little taste of all of Chautauqua County. One thing we noticed, though, a divide. As election 2017 comes to a close, some of the major candidates are reflecting on a possible divide in Chautauqua County. Some may say Chautauqua County is divided on multiple fronts. You can look at race, politics, socioeconomics, but one that seems pretty obvious, geography. Democratic candidate for County Executive Mike Ferguson.
And having worked in Jamestown and Bemis and Fredonia, you can sit back and see that just through the weather patterns. When you get to that Cassadaga line, it could be 70 degrees on one part of the county and 45 in the other. I think that's helped us develop this north-south mentality.
Ferguson's opponent, George Borrello, seems to agree. Borrello says on some days, it's quicker to get to Buffalo than it is to Jamestown.
There is no easy way to get from the north end of the county to the south end of the county. Route 60 is our primary route, and it's very difficult. It's very dangerous, especially in the wintertime. And for someone like me who lives in the north end of the county, I live in the northeast tip of the county, or even, I don't care if you live there or if you live in Fredonia or Dunkirk, it's unfortunate that you can hop on the thruway and be in Hamburg in 35 minutes, but it takes me a solid hour to get to Jamestown. So that creates a bit of a barrier and a divide.
In the process of asking about division in Chautauqua County, we also spoke with County Clerk Larry Barmore, who lived in both North and South Chautauqua County. Barmore says the line is right by Sinclairville.
I grew up in Cassadaga, and I hardly ever went to Jamestown. But when I graduated from high school, my parents moved to Sinclairville. I never went to Dunkirk again. It's just the mindset of the county. There's a dividing line between Cassadaga and Sinclairville, and people south of that line tend to work in Jamestown, shop in Jamestown, and north of the line they tend to shop and work in Dunkirk.
Barmore's opponent, Leanne Lazzaroni, who's the former mayor of Cassadaga, she says her time spent in the village, they argued about a divide. Although today, her generation doesn't see one.
I don't really see that divide anymore. I don't agree with that divide. And I think the more we talk about it being a division, the more it exists. So why don't we talk about it being that we're all together, we're all in this community, we're all in this county, so we should all work together and not say that there is a divide. Well, if there's a divide, let's merge it. Let's not make it a divide anymore.
So going forward, what's the solution to the divide? Republican candidate for county executive George Borrello says it starts with marketing.
We need to spend a little bit of time marketing within our own county because you have people at at Chautauqua Institute, which is kind of its own little closed society, that never leave the grounds of that institute the whole time they're here. Some people are here for the entire 10-week summer season and never leave the grounds. We need to get those people out of there and visiting other parts of the county.
Although, up until just a couple of months ago, if you went to the county IDA site and you were looking for videos, the city of Dunkirk wasn't even included. Is it a mistake? Yes, it's a mistake. Is it easily correctable? Yes. But it goes back to the fact that it is 2017, and in some areas, important areas, we're not ready.
One thing's for sure, both portions of the county have some major projects at work. The National Comedy Center in Jamestown and the Athenix Corporation in Dunkirk.
So Dakota, you grew up in Jamestown. Went to Southwestern School for a bit, right? Then
for kindergarten through second. Well, actually, for my first 3 weeks of third grade, I actually went to Southwestern. My third grade year, they just built
So
the new campus up there. So I was there for the first 3 weeks.
So you kind of traveled a little bit, and then you moved to Buffalo recently, and then came back. So coming back, do you notice there's like a divide between like Dunkirk and Jamestown?
Well, quite frankly, I really don't have a comment on that. I just do weather.
Right.
So
I don't know. I think that like
I just choose
information wise, like if I'm going to Dunkirk,
right,
I'll see like something new, like a new fruit stand or business or something. Like I don't 100% like realize what is there because I'm not there every day.
Right.
And I think like George Borrello, he kind of hit the nail on the head with the fact that Route 60 is the problem. And Route 60 is pretty darn dangerous. I mean, especially when you get that lake effect snow rolling through. Visibility's low.
Yep.
It's a 2-laned road. You got these semis flying by, and you got that jerk on your tail who's trying to go 80 miles an hour while it's in the middle of the whiteout.
I'd rather take 60 than the thruway when I go to Buffalo, and also when I went to and then also when I lived in Buffalo and I would come back down here. I'd rather take 60 than the thruway. But you are definitely right. I mean, 60 is a very dangerous stretch of highway, and
that's probably what contributes to it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
is that so?
Especially when you get around Cassadaga, the old Cassadaga Hill. I mean, that thing has. Oh man, I mean that thing has claimed lives over the years, and a lot of it's due because of its open nature, because there's hardly any trees out there, and it's all open. And especially in the winter when you get those lake effect snow bands, I mean the visibility just reduces to literally nothing. And because there's no trees, you get all the wind, and it
right across
the road,
farmers'
and
fields.
It is just bad.
And I know Kathy Young was working on some sort of legislation to try to improve that stretch. So we'll have to see going forward what we actually get out of it. But just this February, we had a student who worked at not Lena's Pizza, Little Caesars on foot, who passed away in a car wreck.
I think our director, Storm, in the
Lakewood. I think Storm knew him. So, and that's definitely that's some of the issues that we'll be talking about tonight. Not the best segue, but some of the stuff we'll be talking about tonight on the election coverage at 7:00. So be sure to tune in. We'll be talking to everyone, all the candidates that we've seen today on our ballot, and really trying to obviously covering the election and hitting the issues, because even though like the vote is so to speak over with, there's still that what's next? Well, actually making change and doing things that you quote unquote promised, or kind of carrying out your ideas, and we'll see who gets in, and then we'll see where that goes from there.
All I say every single time we have an election, may the best person win and make them do good things.
Right.
So that's all I say on that.
Hopefully good things in the forecast.
Well,
maybe?
if you like snow and cold, then I've got good news.
So it's bad things.
Since we've got that 7-day up, let's take a look at this. Now, for today, just a 30% chance of a rain or snow shower. Highs held down into the lower 40s. And again, even with the sunshine tomorrow, it's not going to warm up our temperatures too much. We'll still be stuck in the lower 30s. Now, Thursday, it will be a little bit of a windy day. We should see, we'll probably see gusts around 25, 30 miles an hour. So obviously that will bring down the wind chill values when you combine it with a temperature like that, with a few rain showers here and there. Now, Thursday night, that's when that Arctic front plows through the region. And take a look at what happens to our temperatures. It drops our high on Friday to 28. I lowered it from yesterday. So we're now going to be stuck. I don't even think we're going to make it to 30. We're probably going to be stuck in the upper 20s with a chance of, yes, that is snow on the graphic, Justin. That is the snow icon. And so we bring in a chance for snow showers. And take a look at that low on Friday as well. Upper teens. Ooh, boy. And the wind chills will definitely be colder than that. We're probably talking teen wind chills to potentially single-digit wind chills in some spots. Saturday, we bring in a few bits of sunshine, but the temperatures will still remain cool with highs going into the lower 30s. And but the Arctic front finally starts to clear out of here Sunday. We begin a chance for rain and snow showers. And Monday, we start to clear out with more sunshine, but temperatures still a little bit below average. Average high this time of the year is 50s. So,
all right,
man.
Awesome. Thanks, Dakota. And he will be back tonight for the election coverage as well, giving a little bit
on my
his weather wall
green wall where I belong.
We'll wheel you a chair over there so you can sit down. That's News Now for today. Again, a reminder, election coverage continues tonight with a special edition of News Now starting at 7 p.m. with local coverage of Decision 2017. We'll see you then.